48 states in the U.S. So it is pretty early. By the way, just so you know, Chronicler. So, there aren't a lot of people up. Also, it's just fun to do like the salty vote and just be like, yeah, he's going to lose other games. And, then you're often wrong. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be a fun battle. As Dash mentioned, both teams winless in the Rumble stage so far. We'll see who can come in with this one. Gangplank off the table. Callista, Lucian, Tristana. Yeah, a lot of the aggro 80 carries indeed targeted at Shogun.
Yes, and also just surprising how much Callista priority has risen from groups to Rumble. We've pretty much seen it as a staple all day long. Obviously able to do a ton in the bottom lane. No one going to let that one through. The two standout picks that still jump to my mind are the Ahri and the Wukong. Two picks you typically see banned on the red side. Right now, SGB just going to ban away the little block. So one of those is going to get left through for Saigon Buffalo to pick up.
All right. Core mid laners off the table here. We'll see what ends up being actually locked in. Saigon Buffalo are the overall youngest team at the tournament, average age 18.8. There's none of their players played pro before 2019 summer.
Yeah.
They are all like fresh face, and by the time pretty much all of them came up, it was unfortunately, right, with COVID and everything, like most of these players never got to go to any international tournaments despite being largely top 2 for a while over in Vietnam. We didn't get to see Vietnam at Worlds last couple of years. That really sucked. It's sad that we missed them.
I mean,
but now they're here, and I want to see how well
they do have some international experience in the roster. Sure. They do have Big Koro behind Shogun, who has played on the international stage before. Again, when they were known as Fong Blue Buffalo. But we do see here this young squad of plucky players going to go with the Wukong like we expected. Yeah. And the Ezreal Prio continues to rise to the happiness of Kobe. And now to see, do they go with the expected Gwen pick, right? Because I feel like we're finally getting to a point where it seems like the meta is stabilizing a little bit. You can know what to expect. Right. I feel like if you don't pick the Gwen, the only things you have to be afraid of, right, that we've seen are the Vladimir, which has had a huge impact, as well as if you are afraid of Hosmed maybe bringing out something like the Jax.
What's weird about the Gwen Vlad, though, is like we've seen that matchup like swing so wildly, right? Like we've seen just the hard clap, but we saw Gwen just rock his world, right? Like Bin just crush that matchup on the other side. So it's like, well, maybe those characters aren't so good after all. Kai's gonna come through, not the best early lane bully, but like if you're gonna follow up on an engage, it is the 80 carry. I would say close with Ezreal because True Shot Barrage to like accentuate a dive comp. Obviously, Wukong kind of does some of that. He's going to, stealth in, dive the backline, hit R, and you have everyone else follow through. Gwen's going to join that one as well. Gwen, a pretty solid fighter for hitting backline as well, right? Ghost in, flank or not flank, and then just like go hit an 80 carry from backline. So, Saigon Buffalo ready to go forward, and even the 80 carry can follow.
And it's really, this has actually been one of the like phases I've liked of Saigon Buffalo's draft the most. Just Kai'Sa, a champion that can follow up on the Ezreal. It feels like in the meta, not too many champions able to keep up with him, at least, being able to outrange you. The Tristana's there, and you have the Kai'Sa being picked up, as well as Gwen. I mean, Danny not going to be able to find big impact, but speaking of impact, we hit on the only reason you wouldn't take the Gwen is if you're afraid of the Jax, or if you're willing to pick it yourself. Going to bring us back to, I mean, heck, even playoffs. Impact stepping up to be a big carry for EG. One of his Tryndamere games just comes to my mind of how much work this guy was able to do.
I feel like this year has been the best year I can remember of Impact in a very, very long time. He came over to the LCS in 2015, and like he's always been a very good player.
Yep.
But I mostly saw him just like he's a really good tank player. He's gonna play some Mordecai, some Gangplank, like solid like averages champions.
You aren't gonna crush Impact.
But that man's gonna play a lot of Ornn, a lot of tank top lane. Like that was kind of his style. Like this guy, and when he came over, it was like, oh, he's got a Jack skin. He was playing carries up on SKT like way back in 2013. But like he was mostly playing tank style. That was his style, playing weak side. And I just remember keep like referencing the Jack skin like in casts. But his Gwen has been great. His Trin, as you're mentioning, has been great. He's now back on something like Jax. Like this really has been to me Impact's year, and I want to see if he can take over here.
I think him and Inspired have been the best two performing players of EG at the tournament so far.
Yeah.
I think there's been some standout moments from pretty much everyone on the roster in different games, but those two have been the most consistent ones to follow through. And the thing I like about what EG are doing so far, especially following through with the Twisted Fate after the Silas Man, is they're setting up so well to be able to play through sides. You have Ezreal who can safely sit, contest mid-wave to just catch that one, as well as while Impact is pushing sides, Jojo Pyun shadowing him from behind and just looking to make Hosmed's life a living hell.
Well, we could see maybe Galio an option. Of course, we did see the Silas ban. Definitely a very standard option into TF. You can match the ulti. Could do it now with Galio instead. Need supports. We've got Rakan locked in alongside Kai'Sa. So a lot of engage. Rakan, Wukong, Gwen, all of them can start it. Galio can follow up, and then Kai'Sa can jump in here as well. And as they need raw team fight engage, Vulcan likely onto a Leona. Gonna feel pretty good. Q is a fast enough stun. You can actually interrupt Rakan W. He will not knock him if you stun him before he gets to his target. So if you're really, really quick, you can actually interrupt up Recon W and just fully like stymie that entire engage. Vulcan obviously going to be a tankier champion as well with the lockdown, so as time ticks down, it will be the lock onto Leona. Engage is there, TF to get around the map. I am very interested in how mid lane pressure is going to go, because I think both those players can try to get side lanes, get stuff going on, so that's where I'm looking a lot.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? Because both having kind of similar play patterns, mid being able to follow up on sides. I definitely think for SGB, they're more indexed into team fighting, right? Having the Wukong able to go in, Froggy able to follow up, tons of AoE damage coming out from your Gwen, Shogun able to get onto Danny in the backline, to where EG, I think, having a bit harder to execute comp. They can definitely win out harder through sides with the Jax. You have TF more easily able to follow up. But again, if the AoE is able to hit, like we've seen from G2's comps all day, the 5v5 comps have pretty much been dominating here at MSI so far.
Yeah, team fighting has always been good, and I think any team comp in the world, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your opponents are, you need some engage somewhere. Doesn't have to be raw team fight, though I agree. Currently, team fighting has been winning the day, but have a go button somewhere. We've got like 4 on the side of Saigon Buffalo. You've got pretty much just Vulcan as the primary engage here on the EG side. We'll see if he's on point with it. But yeah, I think we are going to see a bloodbath of a game. I want your over-under. At what point is the first kill in bot lane going to happen? I'm going to put it at 5 minutes, over-under. There's a death in bot lane.
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
Under 5 minutes, a death in bot lane on one side or the other. We are going to see action in this battle for sure. One of the teams will pick up their first win of the Rumble stage, as there's seems to be a top 3, bottom 3 kind of going on the table, and we'll see who's going to have the sort of upper hand heading out of this game.
And you know, who knows, right? As the days go on, as the tournament develops, as more teams kind of maybe pick up strats that G2 are doing or develop their style more, we might see one of these teams rise up towards that higher echelon of teams.
Of course, yeah. Lots of games to play. We've seen teams have a rough group stage. I think back to T1 in 2017, where it was a rough group stage, and then they went and won the whole thing, gosh darn it.
I think that's when they were losing to teams like Flash Wolves as well, and again, the Korean killer coming out from a team like that, and like you said, stepping up and taking the whole thing.
And then they just beat RNG in the semifinal. It's like, oh, that sucks. You got first seed and fought T1. Unlucky there. We'll see if they get their revenge later on. Impact and Hausman are going to do battle. Be careful. Reinforcements coming on both sides. Hausman should be pretty safe. You can always use E to get away if he needs it. Ultimately, just a bit of damage back and forth doesn't mean a whole lot. No one's got, you know, any gold earning. No one's on first strike, so doesn't mean much. And a quick pause.
I do gotta say though, I really love when teams go with level 1s like this. Even back in my time as a coach, like when you go to an international event and you're facing new teams, one of the most like easily efficient uses of your time is just to plan out a level 1, right? It's something that can have a ton of impact to you, a huge lead in the game that really doesn't take a lot of time investment to look for. And heck, you saw, they don't find anything, they also lose nothing themselves.
Yep, sure. And sometimes you get a default ward out of it. Sometimes you actually sneak someone in, right? It's anything like that is just an expected value proposition where it's like, okay, 80% of the time, it's a 50-50. Like, nothing happens, we see each other, salute, bye. And then 1 out of 5 games, you're like, oh, we just, like, got to track your jungler.
Yeah.
Cool, great, that's huge, right? Now we're not getting ganked ever. And, like, that, great, do that, right?
Oh, it starts opening up a huge gold lead. Maybe you start getting the enemy jungle, taking him down.
Yeah.
But sadly for EG, that's not what happened here so far. And also, you know, just kind of talking about this matchup specifically, right? Because obviously just so much hype being given around JoJo and Danny coming into this event. I think it's going to be a very telling game for both of them. For JoJo, because Froggy is pretty much struggled so heavily, right? He was never meant to be the main carry for the team. He's very much an enabler to the other players. His most played champion is the Galio. He's on comfort. So we're going to see if JoJo can find a way to take advantage. He's on the TF himself, so you don't expect it to be in that pure 1v1. And then for Danny, it's going up against Shogun and Taki, who are absolute murderers.
Oh,
They're going to look for the all-in at level 2, level 3. They're going to look to kill you. And if Danny and Vulcan can get through that lane unscathed, I think it's a pretty great sign for Evil Geniuses. Yeah, and it's interesting because I actually really like Kai'Sa's mid to late game as well. I think, by the way, the best core build is one we saw just in the previous game from Flakked, where big fan of Kraken into Fan of Dancer into IE, and then, you know, flex from there. PD is actually pretty cheap, so you actually get to IE relatively fast. She obviously loves attack speed overall, and just, you kind of get whatever target you want. Like, it all works out. If you're hitting backline, that's okay. They've already been, you know, weathered down, so you're getting plasma procs. That's going to work out. You're hitting someone squishy, great. High attack speed. We're just going to, you know, murder you with 3 efficient damage items. So Shogun, I kind of hope he's on the same build, because I think that's just like the best generic Kai'Sa build, unless you got some really extreme needs. So hope it goes there. And now we'll see what happens. EG take their reset.
Only Vulcan did the ward swap, put one down, and then recalled and switched to sweeper. So everyone else still has wards in inventory.
You still have to see it again. Getting that ward down for your top lane in that brush so he can more efficiently ward for himself from ganks, especially in a matchup like this where you know you should be looking to come out ahead. I do think Gwen has the tools to deal with Jax early and do quite well. It's later on when Jax really takes over the matchup. He did go for lethal tempo though, which is definitely the stronger rune level 1 in those first few levels as compared to the Conqueror on the other side.
Indeed, so we'll have to look for what that looks like, because Impact gonna take the first big Q and walk up for the dodge damage. Of course, it's pretty hard to trade further into bone plating, so stun into 1 auto, and then you just kind of walk away from that one. But we'll see how much damage Hausman can get in, because anytime you can go for an empowered like 5Q, that's actually just a lot of damage.
Yep.
The Gwens that I've seen, basically, they will try to last it with autos. They will only Q for harass, and they'll just like basically do it on cooldown, because you gotta last hit at some point. You're Jax, you're melee, so just anytime you last hit, 5 snip Q. Last hit, 5 snip Q.
Yeah, for Hazmed looking to win out that war of attrition. So far finding some good trades, even though Impact will be level 2 first. And junglers going to opposite sides of the map so far. I mean, going towards their priority lanes, right? We see Shogun and Taki having that pressure down to bot side. Impact winning out heavily in this top lane right now. Just going to look to trade scuttles. And my eyes are just on Saigon Buffalo to see if they're going to be the ones looking for the aggression.
Heal on there as well. Danny, of course, on level 1, takes 3. Only 2 autos, actually, out from Taki. But a bit of damage there. Shogun putting some damage in. Impact going to try again. Level 3 gets it first and takes a pretty heavy trade. Both players pretty low. Inspired. Viego is on the way up. Impact's going to be careful. Hasman, keep in mind, has Ignite. You can always flash to safety, but that could be some decent damage. BJ going to realize he can maybe play for bot lane. A heal-less Danny is potentially killable, but the engagement of Taki, he's burning. Do they have the kill? And there's first blood in 3 minutes. Danny will trade his life back out. Will it be enough? Shogun, one hit from dead. Vulcan on the board with kill number 2.
And we were talking about Saigon Buffalo being the ones looking for blood, looking to take them down in the 2v2, but EG find their opportunity and pounce on them. Luckily, right before BJ is able to show up and coming out ahead in what was essentially a 2v3.
And Impact needs to try to bait this. He's trying to bait now. They should know Inspired path towards top. Normally, you would recall right about now to get your camps back up. 4 and change is when the respawn happens. So limited time here. Impact wants to bait him in, but can't dive in for the stun. Hausman holding onto the W, so ultimately no gank for Inspired.
And I think Hazmed has been one of the better performers on the Saigon Buffalo team. They actually do invest a lot of resources into him, especially in draft, making sure he's on comfortable matchups. We'll talk about later as we see here. Vulcan finds the angle onto Taki, setting up Danny to be able to go in, get this damage off. The Ignite comes out, and then Shogun, knowing that his jungler is coming from behind, looking for the assassination onto the EG AD carry, still ends up going down himself, and overall just setting up for EG quite well. Again, amazing play coming out from Vulcan to find that angle.
Definitely really smart. I mean, Taki had the double shield, but that's why they went for the Rakan instead of the, cleanse. Kai'Sa, who can get rid of the Ignite, get rid of the stun, can get 2 shields from the Rakan. So went for the correct squishy target. Rakan is not tanky. If Guardian's not up, you don't have a lot of health. And I think they were between cooldowns there, so burn him down. Really, really well done by EG. And we were so worried for the EG duo, but they're the ones coming away with first blood, coming away with the 2-1, even despite getting ganked. So that's very heartening for all the NA fans. East Coast probably should be awake by now. Again, it's 8:30 in the morning, so if you didn't wake up, shame on you. For those watching on VOD, you should have watched live.
I think especially, I love how you're known as the guy flaming other regions. You pivot to flaming your own region. I respect that.
East Coast, least coast, just, California for life, that's me.
Giving a bit of a life freak?
A little, I don't know. That's been tinged a bit.
I'll say we'll stay away from that one.
Yeah.
As going back to the EG bottom lane, right? I think there's some fair criticism thinking back to even just this tournament, thinking back to things like the G2 game, them going down in the 2v2, things like the Pyke finding the engage. Nice to see them step up against the bot lane that has gotten some respect this tournament. I think especially Taki has really stood out as one of these defining players. Just an overall great tournament for support pool coming in here at MSI.
Yeah, there's some really, really outstanding players here for sure. Inspired, I believe, didn't see the Wukong walk up, didn't see him ward either. Gonna be a stun. Vulcan's gonna be here. Nice flash, go to the turret, a taunt as well, but he's very tanky. After plus W, you do not take tower damage there, so Froggy, down a flash.
Yeah, going for the gank on Impact right now, though. They aren't able to find anything, so everything going to go the way of EG. And this play made possible by what we saw happen in the bot side. Did they find those kills? They're able to get a pretty big wave bounce back into the side of Saigon Buffalo, which opens up a window for Vulcan to roam mid and for them to find that flash.
Level 6 timing. Yeah, it's going to be decent damage. Impact can take extra turret shots with the R active. It adds about, I want to say, like 35 armor, which is going to probably give him 1 extra turret shot. But they don't go for the play just yet. I mean, Hobman's trading back. if you push it aggressively enough, right, he's not 6. Now he is. No way you died this way. He's to heal too much.
way.
But a slim margin there. But as we saw, B&J kind of recalling under the turret, was kind of covering that angle anyway. So no play to be had. Well done. Vulcan wants to walk up. Gets the root, gets the stun. But again, out he walks. TF down here as well. Cleanses down. And Taki could have been the target. But no, Jojo Pion, I believe they didn't even have a card ready.
No, and just overall really nice. Taki finds a CC to be able to get away. I think the timing by EG was really nice because you look at Froggy, no mana, very low in health, would not have been able to follow up with his ultimate on that play, but sadly for EG, just not able to find the execution to get a kill.
And they get the wave in instead. We'll see if it gets frozen or not, but ultimately Impact just kind of trading blows, is down CS. I would say neither jungler did a lot up here, mostly just kind of covering on each side, but it has been Hosmid doing a better job in the lane, so Jack's counterpick isn't winning yet. It does have lane pressure, but he's down CS and, you know, he's down health too.
And we've seen him not really able to crash the wave, right? Hosmid's been able to keep the wave just pretty much close to his turret for a very long period of time. EG have tried so many times to bait him in to a gank from Inspired, but Hosmid's been playing it very intelligently and hasn't fallen for it so far. Sadly for Saigon Buffalo, I mean, you've done well to make sure that the pressure topside hasn't gotten them anything, but you haven't been able to find an advantage anywhere on the map, and EG actually being the ones to come out ahead in the bot side so far. CS is even, but still those kills so far being the difference maker.
Yeah, solid 600 gold lead for EG. Kind of treading water right now in the early game. When you watch them in the LCS playoffs, it was their mid game that was a lot better. It was the team fighting. A lot of the aggressive instincts of Danny was what kind of took him over the edge. Inspired. Also just a very good late game jungler overall. Good at getting his farm up and then being a carry force in the team fights. So EG game is kind of going according to plan. Obviously, JJ didn't get much out of his first ulti out, but probably we'll see that one again pretty soon. Actually, interestingly, had to go Merc Treads because of the matchup into a Galio. You normally would love to level 5, recall, cooldown boots.
Yep.
Then you make the ulti play with extra haste and feel good about it. But having to rush Merc Treads for the matchup, a lot fewer ults.
Still, though, going to be at least covering their bases. A lot of pressure coming out towards top side.
Yep, not going to quite find the double knockup. Impact running away for his life. Ulti on as well for the revive, and there's the resists. And Inspired really find his way back in. Wants to stun Hosmid. Ulti is a slow, getting away. Saigon Buffalo run a couple of ults, do not find a kill, but Impact down a flash. Yeah,
sadly for EG, no Destiny up since Jojo Pion did look for that play on bot side. If they had that, I feel like that could have been a very advantageous engage for them able to come out. SGB, though, going to look for a window to start this Herald. EG looking to contest. Inspired has his ulti up. Vulcan, sadly, still not level 6, though.
Not going to be in a ton just yet. Shelly down about half HP. You'd love to find the smite and get the kill. The eye on the back, not going to get it low enough just yet, but we're waiting for the play. Impact, very low. Going to be hard to find his way into the fight. No flash, not a lot of tools to survive it, but going to stay in vision. Ezreal and Kai'Sa both still spotted on the bottom side. Kai'Sa moving up now. Here's the engage. Big damage. Taki almost down, and Inspired's going to look for the re-engage. 1 for 1 so far. Who's going to play the Rakan better? B&J, that's of course going to be a clone. Wants Hosmid, gets the knock up there. Immune for some of the damage, but ulti's going to land, and that's going to be the follow-through. Impact gets himself the 4th kill of the game. Going for a bit more. Froggy cannot get out, and it's going to be a slaughter now. The Gwen stolen away. That's going to be an awkward one as Shogun lives under the turret.
Inspired just coming out huge in these skirmishes so far. I can understand what SGB were going for there. I mean, they have the health advantage up in topside on the Gwen. You already are on objective first, but EG playing it patiently, waiting for SGB to over-aggress a little bit themselves, find the resets, are able to take the fight, and Danny able to just chill in this bot side, pushing the wave, deny CS from Shogun. EG just winning everywhere on the map in that play.
Really good at least catch up in CS, and they have cashed in 2 plates so far down there. So EG, feeling really good about the bot lane. Obviously, the team fight itself going well. Feels amazing to win on both sides.
And we see here Saigon Buffalo feeling good because they're able to take Impact out of the fight. They instantly go for the engage, find a really nice taunt, but Danny actually missed this, throwing out a beautiful ult that I assume just going to skate through the fight here, but Inspired really being the difference maker, finding a really beautiful ultimate, able to hit 3 with that ult, and then we see the Rakan able to keep following people up. Just so nice to be able to get that continuous CC, to buy time for Impact to come in with his own counter-strike, and then just CC after CC.
Bit more towards Hosmid. Ulti reveals everyone is topside. Gonna kite away for a little bit, but now the re-engage looks pretty good. Big CC chain coming across. Inspire gotta walk away. Down to half, taunted, and will get shut down. Big for B&J, gonna try now for a little bit more. Now Vulcan, low on health, gonna be up to him, has to walk away, gets away from the cards. Hosmid gonna be around. Danny has shown up. Will it be a trade? Support down top, into the same. Impact just getting away. Triumphs as well. And now Danny and Jojo Pion on the way back in, looking for the stun. Big damage. Froggy just gets away. Taki, one out from dead, gets away there as well. Slinking away. Saigon Buffalo stay alive. 5, and EG again take control of the map off that fight.
Yeah, now teams kind of trading sides with the fact that Shogun was in bot side the whole time. Luckily for EG, having TP on Impacts was going to be able to answer, and EG overall going to deny more CS than they lost and picking up some more kills. Gold Lead's still only about 1,000, but EG, I think this tempo of game feels very nice for them. It's not overwhelming like we thought maybe Saigon Buffalo would pull through. You were just hitting on how they've definitely been much more of a mid-game team, and they're able to get to the mid-game at this pace and kind of show their strengths.
Yeah, I'm still very curious about what the fighters end up doing. You've got obviously two very big junglers, BJ and Inspired, both already on Mythic. They are, one of only 2 players on each team that have theirs. So, I mean, they're off to the races. Jax and Gwen, very exciting as well. Both of them, they're conditional immunities in the middle of the team fight to allow them to kind of function. And hey, we've seen Gwen's, have a winning lane and be 2-5. Ben just did that, right? But we've seen them just hard carry a game. So it really depends on how well they can coordinate around that one and what those fights look like. Because the fighters, to me, are the thing to watch for in these team fights.
Yeah, I think especially if Saigon Buffalo can find the engage, can find the big Wampa with the Wukong into the Galio, they should be able to win out in these team fights, right? They just have more AoE damage. They have more lockdown like we saw in the previous skirmish. For EG, I definitely think you're playing more on a nice edge, but they're the ones on objective first. They still have tools to dissuade you and keep you from coming in. And if they can find that lockdown, we saw, if Inspired can get the possessions himself.
They do not get him for real, though. It's going to be Galio off, but it's all blocked. The shield blocks it all. Ezreal's not getting any damage across, though still. Herald is claimed, and EG get a little bit for it, and a pretty long cooldown burned off Froggy.
Nice patience coming out from EG. They throw out the Leona ultimate, dissuade anyone from being able to follow in, just instantly pivot back towards the Herald. They pick that one up, and they should be able to get this top lane turret now, start opening up the map. And heck, they're the ones that have that Jax on their side. He will be able to win in those extended trades, so EG going to be feeling really good about this one. Time to see if Saigon Buffalo answer back with this Dragon, which it looks like BJ will.
That'll be nice. So, 1 Dragon finally on the board, but very, very late, right? We're 13 minutes in when the Dragon's finally getting started. First Herald itself is actually quite late as well, being contested for. 3 plates were shared to Inspired. Shelly will always give you the share of plates she charges. Turret, of course, local gold just all the way goes towards Danny. This is very common for EG. They always hard funnel the AD carry. Danny is always on someone who's getting solo turret gold whenever possible, so he's going to be almost certainly quite ahead of Shogun here. I'm going to guess almost 1,000 gold at this point. And they always rely on him as their sort of late game team fight win condition.
Yeah, it's actually been really interesting to me how much EG have put into Impact in this game, the topside matchup.
That's
For
true.
the draft, it definitely makes sense where you have an Ezreal bot, you have a Jax counter pickup in topside, but definitely going against the identity that I've thought EG have had all year long. But it's working out, and when you're hitting on that, this has been the best split that Impact's had. I think it definitely makes a lot of sense to play with Impact and Inspired, especially when you're going up against BJ and Hosmed, where, again, when you think of Saigon Buffalo, you think of the bot lane, but BJ does put a lot of attention up towards topside. Shogun and Taki are just the explosive lane who look for the 2v2s, but a lot of their jungle attention does go up towards Hosmed, especially back in VCS. I think here at MSI, we've seen more attention put down towards that bottom lane.
Yeah, it is always interesting seeing just who changes, like who elevates to the level, right? When competition gets fierce, like who steps up to that? Be someone like Caps, clearly, right? Outstanding at that kind of stuff. But Danny,
you were also right.
He could win playoffs. Hey, 1K, awesome, love to see it. And now Hasbro gonna take a little bit of damage. Gonna look for maybe a bit of a stun and no a TP under the tower because they are afraid of this dive. BJ takes 1 turret shot. JJ Quinn has to cover that one here, and yeah, seeing who steps up. It has been Impact who stepped up, I think, in playoffs in the LCS, and has really stepped up at MSI. I would say, singly the best player. I agree with you on Inspired for, second place in the team. And on the way down to the bottom lane, Jojopion, actually, they're just going to let him hit the turret instead. Impact going to go for a ward.
Oh, both teams posturing TP.
Yeah, this is going to be a 4v2 for a second here. Inspired not going to be here as well. They're going to find the first engage. Talk about it, Jojo. Be careful, has a gold card and able to land it. Gwen now going to get the Galio help as well. Impact out of range. And here's the flash engage, also number 2. They're going to find the rest from Rakan. And that's going to be a kill. Vulcan already down.
Danny not here, having the numbers advantage for the side of SGB. It's looking a little bit dicey to me when Hosmed not able to use that W properly. Jojopion still in the circle, so able to get the stun off. Maybe that could have been a kill instantly, but still, you have so much CC on this side. They're able to slam the go button whenever they want like this.
Maybe looking at it under the turret right now. Taki down low, and he will fall. 1 for 1. Out goes Impact, burning, but he should just barely survive. How about the re-engage? Stun's going to be immune.
Oh,
Goes
Danny.
in, looks for Jojo. That's going to be a stopwatch. Will they have the damage, though? Wants it on round 2. Hosmed gets him. That's going to be traded back. That's going to be Inspired, ready to keep playing for the fight, as Danny wants to chase down, but no crowd control means he can't get anything else done.
I love what we're seeing from AD carries today. Flack in the last game, ulting in like a maniac, fighting the kills. Danny right here, he didn't fight anything, but still eating aggressively over the wall, knowing his team can deal with the other members, looking to put themselves in a position where they can carry games. And I mean, for EG, right, you did lose some members, but still able to find return kills onto Hazmed on the other side. Taki going down much earlier on. And yeah, for EG, just get up into the enemy jungle, I think is what we're looking for now. Get some vision control down, enable Impact to push up in this top side lane. And once Jojopyun has that ultimate up again, you can start looking for these plays where we have the Twisted Fate shadowing the Jax. But we'll go straight into the replay here. Like you said, so far, Saigon Buffalo coming in with the numbers advantage because Danny not able to follow up. Sadly for Hazmed, does get stunned, buys a bit of time for EG, but still the amount of CC that the Saigon Buffaloes do have, able to find the lockup to keep this one going.
Yep.
And then this, maybe a little bit over aggression coming through.
Yeah, they get a turret, but they go down 2-1 on the team fight itself, so Jojopyun obviously a great flash, makes Taki just a freebie, and then the rest of it gets pretty exciting, the 1-for-1 afterwards.
Yeah, we see Jojopyun not able to find the stun this time around, so he does buy time Hazmed on the backline. But like I said, Danny going in aggressively. It's so fun to see. Isn't able to hit the abilities, but still able to trade 1-for-1 on the back end of the fight once TF comes out from that stasis.
And you can see the gold difference, only 1,300, because, hey, generally speaking, a turret's going to be a bit better than a kill, so not the worst dive ever, not the worst play. We'll see if Saigon Buffalo can catch their way back in this game. They are up a dragon. Next one's up in 1 minute. Will not be a Mountain Soul, just the Drake for the extra stats when it happens. Are indeed on the way towards Phantom Dancer. I'm curious when the second item spike comes in, because that's the one I really, really care about. You know, Manamune into, it's going to be basically instantly Romana versus PD. I think really, really relevant here. A stopwatch broken for Jojopyun, still up for Froggy. He can play really aggressive, is on the Predator, can really start things out, and then just kind of survive afterwards. So eyes definitely on him. Inspired towards top side, doesn't find anything to play.
Even Jojopyun making his way towards that rapid fire cannon. With the amount of engage that Saigon Buffaloes do have, if you're able to keep that distance even further, find the pick before they're able to find the engage, it feels like that could really be the difference maker for Evil Genius's comp.
And 3 Merc Treads are done, making it pretty tough to actually find those engages reliably. You do need the follow-through. It's, you know, they have 4, so, you know, it'll add up to enough CC, and Wukong's ult, I think you can't really immune at all anyway, but we are now on the second dragon of the game. If you let Saigon Buffalo take this one, there is that chance of playing for the Dragon Soul, and EG kind of have to cover for it. So Sweeper is out, wards will drop. Now do they get to make this play? The recalls are in. Muramana is done. So second item, first of 2 items is going to be the Ezreal.
Saigon Buffalo actually going to look to give this one up, though, making their way towards mid. They should be able to push this one in, maybe get a bit of chip damage down, but EG should be able to force them off right now.
And 3 hits. I think they hit Froggy as well, so decent damage there. And it means, I mean, there's, I don't know if second Herald play is really going to be that likely. They can try. Not really on vision, so they can maybe try to burn it, but you know, they knew they were up there already, and with some decent early poke, this is playable for EG, who's got a face check. They don't know who's in the brush. Okay, Mystic Shot knows no one's there.
They can at least get Impact's TP out if, you know, EG did want to try and contest, but no, EG don't even go for it, so they do get a Herald, but EG now the one-step first turn on mid-wave. They are going to be able to get some chip damage out, or at least maybe poke them out, but BJ posturing for an engage. BJ is still huge, 4-1 and 2 on the Wukong.
Top laners both just like splitting up the map though, as we're going to have Hazman knocking on the door of top lane outer. Someone's got to answer eventually. We've got really no one going yet. I don't know if they're going to burn the Jax TP or not, but he doesn't know this, but he can free hit that turret. No one's answering that wave, and that's the tough thing, is like, okay, yeah, you're expecting the Jax TP, but he would have gotten a couple hundred damage there if he wanted it. Yeah,
still though, gonna play respectfully, which is kind of weird to say after the game we saw earlier in the day from Saigon Buffalo, but yeah, so I think so far this game has been bloody, right? There's been 16 kills so far in 19 minutes. Not exactly at LPL levels, but still pretty aggressive. But I feel like it's been a lot more... I feel like both teams have shown a lot more tact than I'd expect. Like, we have seen some cross-mapping come out. Again, neither team really over-aggressing. For the Dragon player, the Rift Herald, making the turns to mid-wave, making turns to cross-map on both sides. And I guess when this is being postured as, you know, maybe the battle for 4th, maybe the battle for a semi-final, I can understand why both teams are going to play this as respectfully as possible.
Yeah, meanwhile, PC Talon's like, hang on, bros, we're undefeated in this stage, so, you know, get ready for us here as well. Here comes the first dive in towards BJ, revealed, though, doesn't have an easy way out. Second auto will kill him. He's going to get out just barely. The charms are across. 1-for-0. Jax is down. True Shot Barrage answers it. Flash forward, looking for the kill. Danny's got to be careful. Does walk away, goes back in, flashes out. Now Froggy in the front line. Great kill. Inspired knocks down Shogun, survives his 80 carry. Vulcan going to drop. How about the rest now? Hazman going to be stunned. Hazman taking 1 million damage now. Gaze tries to get in towards Jojopyun, cannot find it. And now Saigon Buffalo, I think, are out of damage. 3 dead on their side, 3 dead for EG, but the carries are up is the important thing, as Inspire going to, again, interrupt that knockup. Goes for the ulti, and Froggy will drop. +1 kill for EG.
That fight was so so crazy. And Viego, the type of champion who absolutely loves these chaotic skirmishes, to be able to get the resets on the ultimate. Again, to be able to possess all of these champions that just have so much lockdown to be able to go forward in the fight. And now for EG, going to be able to transition this into another objective in the mid lane.
This is actually a really, really fun game, but it has grown to almost 4,000, so EG, I mean, feeling better and better as time goes on, even though Impact got pretty much deleted. BJ knocked down early as well. Inspired just is running over this game.
Freak, I just said, you know, kills not at LPL level, but we're finally at more than one kill per minute.
There we go.
That's what we wanted, as we see here, the engage actually coming out from the side of EG, thinking they found a collapse on BJ. Of course, they do have the TF ult to reveal him in that stealth. I'm actually surprised how quickly Impact goes down, but for SGB, they just have so many tools to pounce on him to take him down quickly that's what's able to turn it around. Here, I was very surprised that Shogun opted to jump in onto Danny. Nice awareness by Inspired to follow that one through. Taki able to find Danny on the opposite side, but this is just the Inspired show at this point in time. After he's able to find that first reset, just able to get so much damage off, and like you highlighted, able to block these knockups coming out from Froggy to make sure his mid laner doesn't go down.
And that was so close to working as well, right? Like, that was flashy. He had built the gap, but able to walk in range just in time to prevent it. That was a very big deal. However, top lane outer goes down. So turret score 3-3. The game a bit closer again. Only 3K difference. Certainly playable here for Saigon Buffalo. Taki revealed, the rest of the squad is. It's Hosman in a dangerous spot, and looks like they're going to find the Everfrost route into the gold card stun, and now everyone is here, and there shouldn't be any way to make it happen. Just going to kite it away as Jojo Pion, who's going to grab the kill. He's going to claim it. Thank you for the 300 gold. Inspired gets the possession for a second, as now Froggy going to take a stun, and honestly, yeah, Impact, purely physical damage. You don't have any resistance against that one, Froggy, so Galio forced away.
No, so the big payoff from that play is going to be Impact allowed to do whatever he wants on the bottom side, because sadly for EG, they didn't have top lane pushed in. They don't have any vision control on topside river. If they did, maybe they could look for a riskier, but you know, maybe better play of like turning onto Baron, trying to force an engage or something along those lines. But still, one kill and just allowing Impact to get more gold, buy more time. Definitely a win for the side of EG. But Hosmed on the opposite side, picking up a second item, now having that Nashor's Tooth.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Obviously, it's a squishier build. I think you can really consider Cosmic Drive second. The extra haste is actually a really big deal because usually haste is your limiter on big snip Qs. You have so much attack speed through the E, you don't have the Nashor's. It's good. Like, you have a lot of single target damage, your auto attack's really strong, but you can really consider Cosmic, and it makes you a bit tankier. I think he's on 5 deaths.
I think it definitely feels better in team fights for sure, which is what this game has been all about so far.
Yeah, so maybe could have been an option here. BJ, though, hit with a tree shot barrage. Good damage there out of Danny. They're trying for the Baron rush, but it's not really going to happen here. So Saigon Buffalo forced out. The vision was there. The health bar's not great. They wouldn't win the team fight almost certainly, so they disengage, and that means mid priority, shoving it down mid wave, and they're going to cut off the short rotation as well. So some free hits on the turret. Jujupin waiting. Is it going to go that way? Are we going to find a stun? No, we're not. Okay. Now looking for the turret. Only a few shots in for Impact. It played to cover the engage. Going to find a ton of stuns, and Galio forced to stopwatch. Actually, it's going to be the full Zonia, so a 2-minute cooldown on that one. Danny would love to auto the turret one more time, but there's no wave. Not going to happen. I have to wait a little bit for the next wave to come in. Inspired's going to go ahead and in with his face. He's got the teammates behind him, and this turret going to fall pretty fast. A cleanse, maybe not required, actually. Shogun, I think, was not going to be dove there. Turret will live.
I just love the amount of discipline that EG played out that last sequence with, knowing that SGB are looking for the engage because they popped the Shurelios, and then using their tools defensively just to zone them off, just to keep them from finding the engage, right? Vulcan throwing out the ultimate, the Everfrost coming out from JoJo, realizing, hey, we can win these extended poke battles since we do have Danny coming out so strong right now. And then maybe, you know, if someone slips through if one member over-aggresses, that's when EG can really shine with other members of Saigon Buffalo locked down.
And there we go, second Dragon for EG also going to happen. So SGB got the first, but EG have just controlled the map since then. Looking pretty good so far. 4,000 and a Dragon lead. EG poised to make it a 1-1 record. Danny on 3 items before anyone else is really on 2. I specifically talking about BJ here, the primary diver. Vulcan going to find a stun into a combo on a Froggy. Zonia's is down. Blast Plant not going to matter. EG going to find that kill for Danny. A escape for the Hex Gates. Taki on the way out, but Danny's still on the chase. Won't quite find the kill.
Oh, JoJo's going for it.
Will he find it? Scooby's going to spot the wireframe. They should actually stop the one, no problem. Going for a bit more now. 2 versus 2. BJ forced out. This will be a kill. Down goes Kaisa. Shogun's going to drop. And that's EG just running over the game now. BJ is alive, but ultiless, and that's going to be a Baron play.
Man, I love seeing teams use the Hex Gates.
Yes.
When you see Saigon Buffalo trying to get away, EG taking the aggression express, though. Able to find the kill. They're going to be able to turn this one into a Baron. We see from the side of Saigon Buffalo, they're not even attempting to go for any kind of cheeky, maybe get BJ in the pit, he gets smite, dies.
Yeah.
Just going to look to live to fight another day, which, to be fair to Saigon Buffalo, they did almost come out with a win earlier from PSG throwing a game. So maybe you hope for the same thing from Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, hey, it's always possible. It certainly is. We've seen incredible comebacks out of the LCS in the playoffs. Houseman gets tagged in time, cannot hex get away. Ultimately not going to be chased though for Inspired, so takes the long route.
Still will be able to get away just fine. Now kind of taking a look at where we're at with items. I mean, Death Stance been on Impact for a little while now. Most people just making their way kind of that second and a half, third item mark. I think the key thing is Inspired having that stopwatch, actually just turning into a GA right now. So even if he gets focused and taken down a next fight, he should be able to guarantee he survives long enough to be able to capitalize on the damage his teammates do to find the resets he needs to take over.
Yeah, and he had rushed to tankier build, right? Deadman second is certainly not the common option. Right? You so often see something like a Death Dance or you know, that towards GA or Hexdrinker if it's really AP focused, but building as tanky as possible. We can watch that engage. They see each other with wireframes and no way out. Yeah,
sadly for Froggy, just, I mean, the amount of follow-up able to come through from JoJo with that Destiny is huge. And then we're going to see here Shogun trying to get away. EG are going to follow on two fronts, try and cut off Taki and BJ on one side, while JoJo and I believe Inspired follows through as well. To look for this kill up here. And I think it's Gwen. Yeah, we can see Gwen on the minimap. Nowhere near. And yeah, Shogun goes down.
Yep. Yeah, you know, Blast Plate disadvantage, right? Used it, but I still found him in the end, and obviously Q stops the recall. So, you know, good heads-up play to chase that one and get an extra kill. 16-10 on the board. Sub 28 minutes right now. We'll see how long it takes EG if they're going to close this game out. Of course, they did claim the Baron. Rebel Baron power play now 3,300 gold. And obviously up now 5-3 in turrets. Looking to knock on the bottom inhibitor now itself. 1-1-3 right now as we've got TF and Jax playing far. They get the full reveal. Okay, we know who's covering what. Midland's gonna get pushed in. No one's flanking us on the bot side. Okay, great. We know you've got no obvious plays. Knocks down another tower.
Yeah, SGB trying to go with the tried and true. I mean, if a team is Baron and they're attacking on multiple fronts, pretty much what you have to do is give up one area, look for an engage.
Here comes the rest of it, a stopwatch. Danny's gonna go away from most of it, but how about the rest of it now? Frozen Heart gonna buy him some time, but not enough. One kill on the board now for Shogun. 5v4 isn't gonna be enough is the question though, the backline. Gwen's not gonna get much done. Zonya's down, running away, does not get stunned. Jojo cannot find it. He's gonna try for a little bit more now. In the backline goes Inspire, but he is damageless. He can't get that kill. GA will drop, but they've knocked down Galio. 4v4 in for more. The flash stun, Impact finds two. Wants the third, gets it, a triple kill out for the top laner, and now it's gonna be BJ falling. One in for the mid as well. Jojo Pyun makes it a 4-2-1 team fight. Inhib will fall. Nexus coming up next.
And it looks like EG can just look to push for the victory off of one fight that just came from nowhere.
Beatable team fight. Danny dropped, and everyone else did all the heavy lifting. Impact, you are the one carrying the Zoomers. Beautiful job. 6, 2, and 5 on the Jax, wielding a Summoner's Cup as a weapon as they take down Buffalo.
Yeah, today, pretty good day for, well, pretty decent day. I don't like lumping the West in together, but EG picking up a win, G2 2-0.
Yeah.
RNG and T1 not looking so hot so far.
Yep.
But at least for EG, able to come out here and silence some doubts, right? Again, we saw the fan vote was heavily in favor of Buffalo. Again, I'm sure some of it, maybe a little bit of a meme, maybe a little bit of a joke.
Yeah.
But still, it was a question in a lot of people's minds of, hey, would Saigon Buffalo be able to take down Evil Geniuses? We got a pretty decisive answer from EG that, I mean, they just solidly looked like the better team this game. Yep. Impact was huge, Inspired looked good, and Danny, for the most part, was untouched.
I'm gonna throw some shade out real quick. So at dinner last night, you were there, you were witness. I said, hey, how many deaths will Danny have pre 5 minutes across the Rumble stage? Max, Atlas, I think he said 11.
He said 11.
He said 11. To be fair, Danny did actually die early game in this game, but it was in double killing the bot lane. So, you know, who's really the winner on that one?
You know, I gotta